This is a 17-year-old Doug DeMuro. He has now grown to become one of the most famous car reviewers of the world and has one of the biggest automotive channels on the planet, amassing well over 1 billion views. Today, I'm going to go back in time and show you all of his quirks and features to better understand how his passion for cars developed, many of which I can assure you have never heard of before but were extremely important to his success. And finally, I'm going to share a long-forgotten story of his from his teenage years. Born on May 22, 1988, as a child, Doug's parents said that he was immediately obsessed with toy cars from the very beginning. Now, since we don't know much about his early years, let's jump to April 23, 2002, when 13-year-old Doug DeMuro, under the nickname of M5 Power, posted his first message on gtplanet.net, an automotive forum for the Gran Turismo video game series. M5 and his nickname probably referred to the E39 BMW M5, which according to his first post, he considered to be the best car of the world. Now, in the very beginning of his time on GT Planet, he was mostly active in the gaming sections, chatting about Gran Turismo 3 and GTA 3. And while we speak of GTA, whilst you and I were probably busy trying to lose cops and cause complete chaos, Doug was the type of player to record all the cars he would find in-game and share his list online. Next, we move on to what I consider to be one of the most fascinating hobbies I've ever heard of. You know how you regularly see car license plates in the background of many of his videos? Well, believe it or not, this was actually a fully fledged passion in his early teens. I mean, sure, it's fairly common for kids and teenagers to have collected small car models and to have played car simulation games, but how many 12-year-old teenagers do you know with a passion for collecting, recording, and deciphering license plates, let alone moderating a license plate website's entire section for the state they live in? I think this awesome photo of Doug's room does an excellent job of showing us the crazy progression of his passion for cars. Take a look at his desk. It's like, cool, he's got some stuffed toys from his childhood. Now that's pretty common. We see some baseballs, some small car models on the shelf, some automotive posters, and a racing banner on the wall. All pretty standard items. But then when you turn around and look at his bed, you're like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, look at this amazing transition. You have soft toys on a bed, to car models and posters on the right side, to license plates? Really? I mean, I didn't even know this was a thing. And you know what the best part is? We're just getting started. Jump back to 2005, the very moment this photo was taken. Doug was 17, still went to high school, and had his first car, a 1996 Volvo 850 Turbo. Now, apart from being the type of 17-year-old to think of Toyota in his shower, this was the year he began to what he refers to as his car spotting career. You heard it right. You know how people sometimes take photos of very nice cars they see on the street? Well, Doug made a hobby out of it and took it to a whole new level. Only 3 years later, in 2008, he marked his 1000th car sighting, photographing and meticulously profiling every single car into his Excel list. That's 1,000 unique car models that he's been able to spot outside and photograph, let alone identify. God knows how many he has on his list today. Oh, and just so you know, the way he would do it was to spend 1 to 3 hours a day actively seeking out the cars outside. And mind yourself, going to the dealership didn't count. Oh, and have I mentioned, he also launched carsource.org, a text-heavy website with data on car models and photos of his sightings. This is really cool. Do you see how his passion was rapidly branching out into complete different directions? Well, it didn't stop there. Remember that video from his second channel where he told us that he keeps a list of all the cars he's ever owned? The one with their VIN number and updates on what their current owners are doing with them? Well, apart from that being an interesting activity, the keyword here is list, and boy does Doug love lists. Here are some other lists he already had in his teenage years apart from the one with his 1000th car sighting and previously owned cars. He had a list of top cars in existence, a list of 1000 most obscure cars in the last 20 years, a list with vehicle manufacturer locations, and the list goes on. Now, after having already seen all of this, you can bet that his professional life was no different. He first started with a job as a driver for a rental company, then worked for a summer at the car dealership Ferrari of Denver, and worked for 5 months over at Saturn of Decatur. Then he got into Porsche with an internship and became a manager in 3 short years. And the rest you probably already know. It's fascinating to look back at how this young man completely embraced his passion, acknowledged his talents, and went all in. He left behind one of the most prestigious automotive careers, took a considerable loan for a car he couldn't afford to kickstart his writing, and continued to push forward regardless of the extreme hate he sometimes received for trying out new things. This was the story of Douglas Andrew DeMuro, a living legend in the automotive industry. Now, as promised, to reward those of you still watching, here's a story from July 2007, which I like to refer as the highlight of his car spotting career, or the time when he completely chased after Ralph Lauren trying to take as many photos of his Bugatti Veyron as possible. I'll let you stop the video to read over his post, which went viral in several automotive websites of the time. Now let me ask you a question. What are some of the cool passions and interests that you have in life? Thanks for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this video by leaving a like and subscribe for more data-driven insights. See you next time.